What's up, everybody? We're back. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Heather C. 90 Day Fiance, Before the 90 Days, Season 5, Episode 13. We're 13 episodes in, and we do not know when the finale is or when the tell-all is. How many episodes will there be? We don't know. This is part 2, so we have a lot more to talk about. So there was a drink thrown in someone's face. And everyone in America, well, actually, I don't want to say everyone. There's mixed feelings. Some people feel like Usman is in the right and he didn't do anything wrong, and Kim is in the wrong. And then a lot of people feel like Kim had every right to throw the drink. She should have threw a coconut as well. So I don't know. Where do you stand? Like, do you feel like Kim was in the right for throwing the drink? Do you think that Usman is playing games with Kim?
First of all, I want to know what part of America is agreeing that he's in the right.
It's all over Twitter. It's all over Twitter. I don't get it, but it's on Twitter.
I think that, okay, I mean, no, people probably shouldn't have things thrown at them if we want to get technical. But do I fault her? No. I think that this whole time, this whole season, Kim has showed nothing but how much love and respect that she has for him. I mean, aside from flying to where he's at, I mean, she's been his number one supporter. She's basically held it down. She made sure that he didn't get screwed over by his own, people, management, and all that stuff. And it's like all she was asking for, it wasn't even that, he dated that girl, but it's like, could you have been honest? And then let me have that opportunity as a person to say, hey, you know what? I'm okay with this relationship. Or, you know what? Thanks for being honest. We can work past this. I don't think she was asking for too much. He was giving too little.
I feel like he's described her as his best friend. And when you have a best friend, your best friend typically knows if you're in a relationship or not. So the fact that he considered her his best friend and didn't find that telling her about a relationship was important, because I know best friends tell each other a lot. Sometimes they overshare. They tell each other too much. So I feel like he had negative intentions. He wanted to make himself seem available when he wasn't. And even though he keeps saying all I wanted was a friendship, I feel like he was playing the game. And I know people are going to come after me because everyone's like, no, he's been honest the whole time. I feel like he's been like throwing a fishing line out, and he's putting just enough bait on that line to keep her reeled in. He's not being 100% honest with her. And I just feel like the way that trip happened, and like he said, I didn't plan any of this. He's like, I didn't do anything special. I just showed up. That shows how much that he's put into this. He just showed up.
Well, I'll say this real quick, that Kim is my girl. I love her. She's been my favorite since day one. So I got her back. And if anybody comes at you saying that you're crazy for agreeing, send them my way at Pinky69Brit, because I want to know why they agree with him. Just out of curiosity, because I found at least 10 things wrong with what he's done. So please let me know so we could talk about it.
I'll send them your way. So he told her nice flight, and we don't know if she's going to hop on that plane or not. We want her to, but she might give him another chance. In the preview, she got a text from him and she wanted to go down and see what it was about. So let's see what that's going to be about next week. And hopefully she still gets on the next flight out and comes back home. And Kim, come back to the States. We love you here and we love your loyalty. So let's talk about Mike and Amita. So against the advice of his friends, Mike decided to stay with Amita, and everyone told him to leave. Every person that he called, everyone that he asked for advice said, get out of Dodge. And he said, oh, I'm going to stay another week. He sleeps with her. And then she breaks this news that, oh, by the way, we're not going to sleep with each other anymore until we get married. And they're not getting married on that trip. And Mike is starting to feel like, oh my God, my friends were right all along. I've just been a sucker. And it's like, thank you for catching up to the train, Mike. Thank you for finally coming to where we all have been all season. This is what's been happening the whole time. Love is blind. You didn't see it. We all saw it. We've all been trying to save you, even though this is pre-taped and we can't. We've all been trying to save you. We're just glad that you're on the same page with us.
Okay, so this is no shade at all to either party, but I feel as though her intentions can't be any clearer. So like you had said that it's about time that he finally got caught up with the rest of the world. It's true. I mean, if he would stop and put it together like a puzzle, it's like, okay, I'm about to break up with you. So what does she do? sleeps with him, damage control. So then, right when she reels him in, then he gets comfortable again. And then he's like, okay, let's talk about marriage. She's like, okay, but I'm not sleeping with you anymore until we get married. So then he goes to break up with her again. And then what does she do? I love you. Oh, let's just talk and let's salvage it. So it's like, you know what? Your friends don't steer you wrong. He needs to put on his big boy pants, listen to what his friend has to say, whether it's good or bad. She has his best intentions, and she doesn't want to see him get hurt. She doesn't want to see him waste any more time or money or anything like that. Clearly, Amita is not interested. She's been very vocal to his face about how she feels.
Yeah.
So I feel like he needs to cut it loose. I don't even know if they should be friends at this point, but cut it loose. And you know what? See what else is out there for both.
I agree. Mike is a good guy. He's a stand-up guy. He would give any woman the shirt off his back to help her. He's even taken on being a father figure to a woman's kids. So we know through his actions, he's a good guy, and he deserves a good woman who appreciates that type of support. And she's out there, Mike. You just have to look for her. And now that America knows who you are, maybe she will be looking for you too. All right, guys, let's talk about Ben and Mahogany, okay? So they had this picnic date on last episode, and Mahogany asked Ben, tell me about your past relationships and why they didn't work out. Ben immediately says, I refuse to talk about my past. I don't have to explain it to you. So she's confused. He proceeds to go back to the hotel and send her a novel of text messages explaining what she had just asked him to explain to her in person. So my first thought is, okay, she asked him the question. His first thought is, I need time to come up with a story that makes me look like a good guy. So that's why he wouldn't answer it. I mean, this is just my theory. So I feel like he went to the hotel and came up with a good story to tell him of why his marriage ended and why the engagement with the 28-year-old woman ended. And it all is going to paint Ben to be a good guy. And Mahogany caught on. She's like, well, I just asked you this and you wouldn't tell me, and now you send me like a million text messages. And she's like, to the point, I don't even want to know anymore. And I'm totally with her. Like, I don't want to know if you couldn't tell me, because what if I had a follow-up question? He took away face-to-face interaction to have that conversation, and I find that very suspect.
I feel like he is very controlling. I feel that he's very used to being in the driver's seat. I mean, even the way he interacts with his ex-wife and his children back when he told them he was going to meet her, I feel like his whole arrogance to everything, he just has this like, well, I don't owe you an explanation. I think some might say entitlement. You know, so be it. I mean, people are how they are. But I think that he doesn't realize rather that she is a person, and, you know, by you coming there, you know, you're like, I love you. You told me you love me. I'm going to come here. We're going to get this. We're going to get married and whatever. And it's not happening the way he thought. But he forgets that she's a human with feelings, and she doesn't have to jump when you say how high. If there's no reason in the book why she couldn't ask those questions. If she's trying to give you all of her, then you need to give her the, you know, answers to the questions that she has. And I don't think either, like you were saying, that there's anything wrong with that.
No, and she deserves to ask those questions face to face. Sometimes it's good to look in someone's face in their eyes and ask these questions. If you want her to marry you, give you children, she needs to hear this from your mouth, not a text message, because she wants sincerity. She wants to see your reaction, how it affects you emotionally when you tell the story. If you actually loved your ex-wife, when you tell that story, you would be emotional telling them why it didn't work out. And I think that she wants that real, raw emotion, and he's not willing to do that because he's not willing to really give any of himself to her. And I think that's never gonna build any strong foundation for a relationship. He wants to be in control. He wants to dictate what information goes and what information stays. And it's never gonna work that way because he's never gonna give her the opportunity to speak freely with him.
Exactly. And I think he takes advantage of the fact that he is older than her. So it almost comes across as like a father-daughter type of situation.
Yeah.
And a relationship. Like, I don't think it helps the fact that he found out that she's his daughter's age, because I think he has that control issue. Like I was saying, personally, solely my opinion only, I feel like this relationship has fizzled. I think that he came there to see if he could build anything off of it. I feel like there was red flags left and right on both sides of the party. And age is not nothing but a number in some case scenarios. So I don't want to say because of their ages, this is why they should part. I think because they're two different people with two different mindsets, that's why they should part.
Yeah, the fact that Ben is older has nothing to do with why he can't make a relationship work with her. It's his flaws. He won't open up, and he's very demanding. And the way he answered that text when she asked him why he didn't show up to breakfast, and he's like, "Oh, well, you ignored my text. I took that seriously." It was just almost like a disciplinary text that you would send to your child, like, "You didn't do good on this test, so I took that seriously." And I just didn't like that level of control, the way he's holding her below him, as though he's in charge and she has to abide by what he says. I don't like that. That's never a relationship that I think is healthy for anyone. So I hope that Ben hops on a plane and leaves, and Mahogany moves on. And maybe we'll get some answers and a tell-all of the weird fake apartment and the different things that have caught our eye throughout the story. But in the end, I don't see how they're going to end up together. I just don't. And I think going their separate ways is the best way to go. They're just too different. And like you said, it has nothing to do with age. They just can't work. They're not compatible.
No, there's no honesty. They lie to each other.
Lies, lies, lies. All right, guys. That's it for part 2. 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, season 5, episode 13. This was part 2 of the podcast. Make sure you're live tweeting with us every Sunday night. I'm George Mossey. This is my beautiful co-host, Heather C. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you guys really soon.
Bye.